I'm Brooks Compton. We just completed our 6th meeting of the year, and this is June 19, 2017. The meeting was called to order about 7:35, and an invocation was given by Caleb Ingram, who's the Executive Director of the Declare Worship Community, which is set for June 30th. Pledge of Allegiance was given by those in attendance, and we had a full house this evening for our meeting. Roll call was taken. All council members were present, and we approved our previous minutes for meetings on May 15, 2017 for our formal meeting, May 15, 2017 for our work session, June 1, 2017, June 5, 2017, June 12, 2017, June 15, 2017, and June 16, 2017. Those were all work sessions. Those minutes were approved with a couple small corrections based upon a couple times that council members had to be absent from those meetings. Communications, it was unfortunate, but we accepted the resignation of Jenny Strasberg from the Arts Commission. She's been a valuable member of that commission for many years and has served as chairman of the committee for really the last 3 years. She's been very instrumental in the success of Art at the Trace and a number of the other events that the Arts Commission has been involved with over the years. And we will miss her presence on that committee. Caleb Ingram also spoke tonight about the Declare event, which is set for June 30 at 7 o'clock at Stubbs Park. He gave a little bit of the background of what's been involved in that community gathering for a worship service at Stubbs Park. We were fortunate tonight to recognize the Tower Heights Middle School Science Olympiad winners. They won the State of Ohio contest and finished 17th in the nation. And the coaches, Karen Hardy and Susan Ralston, presented a little bit about their contest and the success of that contest and how much time they committed to perfect their trade and their team for the Science Olympiad. They started in September, practiced almost every Saturday, some Sundays, and all the way through May, which was the final competition at Wright State University, where they finished 17th in the nation. That was the most successful team that we've had for some time from Tower Heights, and that was a real honor for all of the good students to be here that evening with their coaches, Karen and Susan. Then we recognized from the Centerville Police Department, we recognized Lieutenant Matt Brown, who received the Distinguished Service Award, and Sergeant Jim Shaughnessy and Officer Scott Thomas, who received the Medal of Valor Awards for their work and handling in a professional manner the incident in February of this year, 2017, and the professional manner in which they handled that and showed their excellent training that they implemented that day, which was very valuable for the safety of the residents who were in that area at the time. In addition, then, we recognize Detective Dan Osterfeld upon his retirement after 35-plus years in the department, the Centerville Police Department. He's been a tremendous asset, as has been Sergeant Jim Shaughnessy and also Officer Scott Thomas. And Lieutenant Matt Brown was also here tonight, as I indicated, to receive the Distinguished Service Award. Officer Jim Stevenson received the John P. Kalaman Employee of the Year Award, and Sergeant Stephen Maynard just retired. He received his retirement party a couple months back for the City of Centerville Police Department. All of those employees there at the Centerville Police Department have been a real asset to our community, and we're very fortunate to have the excellent police department we have. We then went on to award the Mayor's Award for preservation in the City of Centerville, which is awarded by the Board of Architectural Review. The Board of Architectural Review Chairman, Edward Ross, was here this evening and awarded that to Mr. and Mrs. Jerry Strange for their property at 650 East Alex Bell Road. They received an award, the Mayor's Award, and which was a nice rendering of their property at 650 East Alex Bell Road and the recognition of their award for 2017. Next, we had Yankee Trace, and she is the scleroderma awareness representative for our area, And Councilman Sayre read the Scleroderma Awareness Month proclamation, and Ms. Trace gave a little bit of the background of an event that they have coming up to raise funds for awareness and also for health treatments for people who have scleroderma. Then had the good fortune to administer the oath of office to two new Arts Commission members, Michelle Van Huss and Alan Ely, who were sworn in this evening and will take their place on the Centerville Arts Commission. And if you do have an opportunity or would like to serve on the Arts Commission or the Centerville City Beautiful Commission or any other commissions with the City of Centerville, I would encourage you, as there are openings on these commissions, to contact the city or contact any council member or contact Maureen Russell Hodson at the city, who would assist in getting that application in front of council for consideration, and you would really have an opportunity to enjoy good work on a commission. Then we had official reports, and we had a very short mayor's report tonight because we went into recognition of Greg Horn, who is our city manager, who is retiring after 25 years as city manager for the city of Centerville. Greg started his career on July 5th in 1992 when Yankee Trace was in the formative stages and in fact was in the middle of the golf course construction at that time. Greg has had a very, very successful tenure over his 25 years as city manager, and tremendous accomplishments go with his tenure here as our city manager. We congratulate Greg on his retirement and know that the work that he has done has been a real asset to our community. And we will miss him greatly, not only as our city manager, but as a friend and also as a true community citizen for the city of Centerville. We then went into a report of the Planning Commission, and there were no items on the Planning Commission agenda this evening. So we then went to the consent agenda, and the consent agenda are items that are generally considered as routine by the City Council. If any City Council member wants to remove an item from the consent agenda, it may be removed and is dealt with separately. So at this time, we had a number of items on the consent agenda, and I will point out a couple of them of particular significance. One is that we will be setting for public hearing a consideration for a ballot item with respect to some non-controversial charter amendments, which will be on the ballot in November of this 2017. Then we also asked the city manager to consider, and we did consider through a resolution, a bike path improvements there on Hewitt and Bigger and on Alex Bell Road from Iron Horse Park to improve the bikeway connections between those areas. And that's known as the Hewitt Avenue Bikeway Connector Project. And that's being funded through the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission, City of Kettering, and City of Centerville are working on that project. We did approve a resolution appointing an interim city manager, and Jennifer Wilder will serve in that capacity after Mr. Horn is retired and until a new city manager is in place for the city of Centerville. Then we also went ahead and approved tonight by resolution. Mr. Horn was good enough to get all this information in front of us regarding Yankee Trace Homeowners Association or the Yankee Trace Community Association and the City of Centerville, reviewed all the items out at Yankee Trace with respect to the bikeways, pathways, the horse park fencing, some of the bridges, so that there's a clarification since Mr. Horn knew all the ins and outs of the Yankee Trace development. That was reduced to writing and agreed to by the Yankee Trace Homeowners Association Board and the city to put this so that in the years to come there will be clarification as to who has a responsibility for covering certain aspects of the Yankee Trace development, primarily the bikeways, the pathways, the horse park fencing, and some of the bridges. And that was approved tonight. Then we had 3 public hearings. Our first public hearing dealt with seasonal garden centers, and our code had a provision in there that you had to have a garden center open for 90 days, but then it had to take a 60-day gap and then could reopen again in 90 days. We received a request earlier in the year to address that issue. Council reviewed it, Planning Commission reviewed it, and made a recommendation to Council that 60-day period in the middle be eliminated and make it so that the garden center, temporary garden center, could be up in accordance with Centerville building requirements and approved by the Centerville Building Inspection Department for 6 months, and then would be able no longer open. So rather than going 90 off 60 and back 90, they would have 180 days in a row. So there would not be the breakdown of the site and then the buildup of the site again after 60 days. That was approved unanimously by council. Then we also had an item come before us where we're trying to clarify the city charter, and the ordinances with respect to who may serve on boards and commissions. And the council approved unanimously tonight a ordinance that requires someone who serves on our boards and commissions to be an elector registered to vote in City of Centerville items, whether that's for city council and mayor or items that come before the city to vote on. So an elector would be someone who has the right or is able to vote on city matters and is registered to do so. And finally, the last public hearing we had was there were some easements that, with respect to the new project up at Showcase Cinema site, where the new Allure project, a couple easements had to be vacated temporarily to allow that project to go forward, and that matter was also approved unanimously. Then we had citizens' comments and concerns and petitions, and we had no citizens, but each council member spoke briefly about Greg Horn's commitment to the city, all his success as city manager, and how much we appreciate all that he's done for the city over these many years. Each council member had an opportunity to speak to that and express their appreciation to Greg in different ways and addressing different items that came up over the years. We will truly miss Greg as our city manager and our friend. And finally, we had no new business, so we handed the gavel to Greg, and Greg adjourned his last meeting as city manager and council's sixth meeting of the year 2017 at approximately 10:15. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to call the city at 433-7151, or feel free to email or call any of the council members or me as the mayor. Thanks again for watching. Look forward to seeing you at Americana and throughout other events in the city of Centerville. Good night.